Hi, this is Tony Mercado with Hispanic Business Association, here with Emanuel Pleitez, who's running for the mayor of Los Angeles. We're coming to you from laextv.com. How are you this afternoon?
I'm good. How are you all doing?
We're doing well. I just thought we would come out and speak with you for just a few minutes because we thought that as Hispanic business owners, the Hispanic Business Association is looking for people that are either mentors for business owners or actually the fact that you are actually out there advocating for small businesses and Hispanic businesses. We thought we'd sit down with you and see if you could help us out with some of your strategies.
Absolutely, I'm happy to.
Wonderful. The first question that I wanted to ask you was, how does your experience relate to small business growth for the city of Los Angeles?
Well, look, I've been in the private sector working in different industries, and I have an understanding of what it takes to grow a business, small or large, and to make sure that you can hire people. You can actually help a local economy grow, and I think that's the perspective that I have with the private sector experience and in the public sector, and I'll be able to apply that as mayor of Los Angeles.
Wonderful, thank you for that answer. What factors do you believe are hurting the creation of small businesses and growth of existing businesses here in the city of Los Angeles?
Two things. You need to make sure that a business can grow and has the capital available and the know-how. And then second, you need a workforce that is skilled and that can actually get the jobs that are available. For any small and medium-sized businesses, we want to make sure that anywhere in the city of LA that they feel that they can access capital, have a customer base, and hire people. And that's the perspective that I bring, that I want to make sure that a business of any size feels like that they can compete in the city of Los Angeles and grow from here and compete with other cities across the country.
Well, I think we'd all agree with you that we'd like to compete with other cities across the nation, so that's a wonderful answer.
Absolutely.
Here's a question for you as well. How does education tie in to the small and minority business growth?
Absolutely. So that's one of the two components, right? That our workforce needs to be skilled. We need to increase the amount of education to employment opportunities. It's not enough that there is a business here. The workforce needs to be skilled to get those jobs. And that's why education is critical, from early childhood to adulthood. We need to make sure that we're increasing the learning opportunities, that it's not just about learning opportunities in a classroom. It's about learning opportunities anywhere, 7 days a week. As mayor, I would take an education approach that is a 24/7 mindset to make sure that our workforce is the best skilled in the country. And therefore, companies are going to want to come to LA and hire more people. That's how we're going to be able to create jobs and help our businesses grow.
Wonderful. That would be a wonderful experience, I believe. Let me ask you another question when we go to experience. What experience do you think make you the best choice for mayor for the city of Los Angeles?
I understand the problems and the solutions for this city. I grew up in a poor single-parent immigrant household. I went through public schools. I have since then achieved a certain modicum of success, and I feel that I will bring not just the experience in the private sector and the public sector working in the real world, but also the first-hand experience of understanding what it's like to struggle to be hungry in the city of Los Angeles. Putting that together will prepare me to make sure that I feel that urgency that we need to create those education opportunities, to help businesses grow, to create the jobs so that we can get our economy going. And that's what the next mayor needs to feel, to be, and I will bring that to the table.
So based on those experiences, you feel that you could actually help kind of speed up the economy and make things happen by really focusing on those areas?
I absolutely will. I will make sure our workforce is trained and that businesses have the capital and the access to know how to grow their business, so we can actually put those two together and build our economy. I mean, right now we have the highest unemployment rate in the country. It's a sad state of affairs, but we need to address that. And I think that we can go on and on about policy proposals or certain types of solutions for our economy, but at the end of the day, you need someone that actually understands it firsthand and feels the urgency to want to address it right away. I think for too long we've been not investing in certain areas of the city. We have a divided city. We have areas such as South LA, the East Side, the East San Fernando Valley, areas that have been underdeveloped for many years. And the mayor needs to understand that in order for LA to thrive, the most underdeveloped areas also need to thrive.
Well, that kind of leads me into our next question. Thank you for going there. Why do you believe that investments in low-income or underrepresented areas of Los Angeles are important to the success of the whole city of Los Angeles?
It's where any investor will be able to get the biggest bang for their buck, where we will make the most impact. And as mayor, I will look at it as an investor, as an impact investor, to make sure that we are we're making the economic well-being of the city improve. I believe that in order for the city to really thrive, we need to be a world-class city where no community is left behind. And I've lived that, and I know what it's like to have to struggle to find work, to have to struggle to live in a poverty level situation. And I believe no one in the city should have to go through that. And if they are, there needs to be an opportunity for them to excel, for them to provide for their family, and engage in their community, help their communities grow. It needs to be an all of Los Angeles together, working together to improve our economy.
Now, based on that as well, how does ignoring or forgetting those low-income or poverty-stricken areas impact the whole city? I mean, you're focusing on that, but
Sure.
we're also looking at high income and that type of stuff. But
Absolutely.
if we ignore the low income, how does that affect us?
Well, look, at the end of the day, the city has to provide some set of services that are for all Angelinos.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't have the tax base to be able to provide those services, if we don't have the right budget system to be able to provide those services, then we're going to suffer, and we're going to have to cut services because we're going to be in budget situations that we're not going to like. We need to make sure that we broaden the tax base, especially in those more underserved areas, so that everyone is able to contribute to the city, to be able to provide those services throughout the city. Public works, right? Paving streets, our infrastructure, having a more, a better energy efficiency types of companies and environments. We need to make sure that all of the communities in LA can grow, can get jobs, broaden the tax base, to make sure that we're investing in the right places as the city of Los Angeles.
Now that we know some of your policies and your thoughts on that type of stuff, let's get to know Emanuel a little bit better,
Sure.
okay? As you were growing up, who would you say was one of your mentors that you looked up to?
I had various mentors. I mean, I think that you always have to start with within the family and the household. My mom, I would say, not necessarily a mentor, but an inspiration. And I remember her taking night classes and trying to learn English. And it wasn't that she told me to do her homework; she was doing her homework, and that inspired me and said, I need to be doing my part. So that's where I really learned kind of leading by example and making sure that it's not just about setting rules; it's about showing, it's about doing. And that's where I learned what I learned from my mom. But then throughout my childhood and young adulthood, I had many mentors. I was very lucky, from basketball coaches, teachers, administrators, counselors at the schools, recreation center directors. I felt that I was able to find those positive influences in my life and latch onto them. And that's how I made it out of these neighborhoods, and that's how I'm able to come back and provide my experiences to help improve the neighborhoods. But it's very easy for anyone else to not be that successful. I mean, my best friend in middle school, you could say, had the similar influences than I did, but he walked home a different direction, and he maybe had just a slightly more negative influences. He ended up dropping out of school and is no longer here with us because of gang violence. I understand how fragile it is to grow up in these neighborhoods, and there's no one magic formula, but we need to increase the amount of programs that are intervening, that are preventing those types of situations from happening, and are providing young people, like when I was young in these neighborhoods, an opportunity to excel and to be able to come back and address the real problems and be the role models, or else we're going to continue having only a few have the role models and everyone else kind of have more negative influences for them.
Wonderful. Now, a little bit more about you. Obviously, you're a homegrown boy. You've been in Los Angeles most of your life, obviously, other than your education. What is your favorite thing about Los Angeles?
It's the diversity. We have such an amazing city, and I'm talking about diversity, not just ethnicity and language, but also of industries, of the landscape, that you can go from in 20 minutes to the beach, as well as the mountains.
Right.
You can go out to the desert. You have the coast. You have an urban dense area. You have suburban areas. You have many areas in the city, many different cultures, many different institutions. All of these are assets that bring richness and a diversity to our city that I am proud of, and excited the fact that I am still here. I was born here, and I can now lead this city as mayor.
Wonderful. Last thing, just to kind of get back into what we wanted to talk about is, what do you think can actually make the city better? What are key points that maybe we can make the city do better, succeed more?
Sure. Number one, we need to address our budget crisis in the city, and it's not unique to LA. A lot of other cities are facing the same thing. We need to make sure that we're on a path to solvency and we're not risking bankruptcy. That means reforming our pension system. For the long term, we need to invest in education and training opportunities, make sure that we're having more platforms so that someone can go from education to employment and actually have the workforce that is skilled to get the jobs that are available, because jobs are available. And thirdly, we need to invest in our infrastructure. We need to make sure that we have more mobility options. We need to allow the private sector to enter in the mobility market and make sure that we're providing more transportation options, such as buses, rail as well, but focus on pedestrian-friendly zones, focus on more ride-share, bike-share programs, more bicycle lanes. Essentially figure out how to increase the ways that you can get from home to work to recreation, back home to your friend's place. We need to make sure we increase mobility options and have a long-term plan for an infrastructure network so that we can have commerce and growth in the city.
Well, thanks for that insight on what you're looking at. Here we are, just returning to you. This is Tony Mercado with Hispanic Business Association here on laextv.com with Emanuel Pleitez. It's the new, it's actually running for mayor here in the city of Los Angeles. One of the other things that I did want to also mention, we didn't get too much into personal things, but you are a bilingual, right? You do speak Spanish, you have the roots, and you're one of the ones that que me puede platicar todo en español si es necesario.
Podemos hacer la entrevista en español si quieres. Mi mamá es mexicana, padre salvadoreño. Crecí en el este de Los Ángeles, nací en el sur de Los Ángeles y he también estado involucrado en la comunidad latina, no más porque hablo español, pero porque sé que el futuro de este país tiene que asegurar que todas las comunidades puedan mejorar, puedan proveer para sus familias y sus comunidades para crecer nuestra economía. Y específicamente yo creo que la comunidad latina tiene esa fuerza y tiene ese potencial para poder ayudar al recuperamiento de nuestra economía en el país.
Thank you very much. So if you didn't get that, just push the SAP button and it'll all come out in English. Just kidding. Anyway, we just wanted to thank you very much for taking your time out. We know you're a very, very busy businessman, and on your way to the mayor's office is wonderful. We'd like to congratulate you on your efforts. And as I said, with the Hispanic Business Association and laextv.com, I just want to say thank you very much, and we hope to see you soon.
Absolutely, no, pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great. Good job.